So I want to walk you through something very specific today. We're going to go through 5 infographic formats that we see consistently 7-8-figure brands are used to drive more sales. And you can steal all of these. But before I get into it, first of all, why can you trust what I'm about to tell you? So I'm Daniel. I've been running retention marketing for e-commerce business, 7, 8, 9 figures and beyond for the past 5 years plus with Hayes Media. You can see an example here of a Klaviyo account that we've got where we did $3.61 million with email revenue, which equivalent to 31.47% of attributed revenue. As I mentioned, we're scaling e-commerce brands here at Hayes Media. Some example of some brands that we worked with and currently work with are here, as well as reasons why brands choose to work with us in the first place. The way we work with our brands is we have a select few. The number is around 11 to 12 clients at one time. And these are clients that we know that we can get results for and we know that we can work with. The main offer, the main thing that we give is done for you retention marketing, specifically email and SMS marketing that helps increase repurchase rate and customer LTV. And it's all through done for you, right? It's all done for you. Now, in the moment, if you want, we're actually giving free complimentary audits to those that are looking to have a fresh start to their retention marketing system for 2026. What we'll do is you'll give us your Klaviyo account access to your ESP software, and we will see where you are leaving money on the table and missed revenue opportunities. You can take that information and implement it yourself, or you can choose to work with us if it's the right fit. Otherwise, you can take the information with you and you can use it with what you will. And you can book that retention audit by clicking book a time to chat at hayesmedia.co, or you can go in the link in the description and book it there. So why does this matter? Why are we talking about infographics today? So most brands, when they think about email performance, it can be about things like subject line, CTRs, or frequency, where it's usually not. It's usually what gets those, what we call vanity metrics up, your open rates and your CTRs. What gets them up is clarity. Now, if someone opens your email and has to work to understand what you're trying to say, you've already lost them. And infographics, these formats that I'm going to show you today, do one job really well. They actually make decisions very easier. So comparison infographics, I believe these are the most underused tools in email. And what this does is it controls the narrative. Instead of letting the customer open a new tab and compare you to 3 other brands, you're doing the comparison for them. Good versus bad, us versus alternatives, things like that. It's very, very simple. And in this case, and you can see some examples here, it lowers cognitive load because they're very easy to read. And it gives them a logical reason to switch without you needing to hard sell. Oobly has a good example here of how Oobly stacks up against other chocolate, going in with the features. One thing that I will say here, which I see a lot on these, which aren't bad, they're really, really good, is that usually the customer doesn't care too much about the features that the product has. I mean, maybe more so back in the day, like people really cared about sugar at one point. Obviously today still, but what does less sugar mean, right? And why do people care about less sugar? Well, for me, the reason why I don't eat sugar during the week is because I have energy crashes. Right? So I'm working and suddenly 1 p.m. comes. If I have, I don't know, some granola with sugar on in the morning, by 12 p.m. I'm knackered, I'm shattered, I'm ready for bed. Like I need to rest because I have a crash due to the energy spike. So when you see features here, best thing to do is compare. So in this case, Oobly, compare against other chocolate. You can say other chocolate gives energy crashes. We actually give you energy, right? And that can be, it's a benefit. Right? And you're leading in with the benefit, not the feature. So I think the improvement here, even though I love comparison infographics in general, I think they're very easy to read and they're very understandable, is instead of going in with the features, you go in with the benefits. Another example here is elevate their plate. So this is Sundays, basically the advantages of air drying and making it easier for dog food and why air dried is so good. So Sundays versus kibble. Here we have human grade, made with all natural ingredients that meet rigorous standards for human consumption, requires artificial vim. Again, this is great, but what are the benefits, right? Why is synthetic vitamins bad? You can have human grade here and synthetic vitamins here in the header, and then in this copy underneath it, the supporting copy, you explain what the benefit is of human grade. What is the pro of human grade? What is the con of synthetic vitamins? Because people really don't know, or they need to be reminded. Amra here, do more with less. There's beauty and simplicity. Embrace the power of one with the Armor Colstrom. Soft Armor is the magic number one. Mirroring the multitudes you contain, Amra is a natural native source of 400 plus bioactive nutrients that pull the weight of numerous supplements. Gut health, immunity, fitness, skin radiance. Again, this is really good here. Going in with the benefits. Then let's break it down. Here they have a comparison. Hair, tick, $88. So here they're actually comparing the costs of it. Skin, $55. So basically what they're doing is, this is a great example, right? If you have cost conscious consumers, having a comparison with what others usually cost versus what you cost is really, really good. If you want to get all the things without Amra, this is how much it's going to cost you. $495. With Amra, $109.99. So I think this is really, really, really good. Instead of let's break it down, they could have said, let's break down the costs. Let's break down the actual costs to you or something like that, right? So it's a bit more clear of what this is without having to think too much, but otherwise really, really good. And then they have the social proof of the testimonials to, balance it off at the end there. So let's move on to feature benefit infographics. So I was telling you a little bit just previously about feature benefits. So AG1 benefits you can actually feel. Rhodiola magazine for focus. Again, this is great. This is exactly what I was talking about. So what does magnesium and what do the B vitamins and what do rhodiola give you is focus and energy. COQ10. I actually talked about this in a previous video of, like, I personally had no idea what CQ and COQ10 is, but apparently it is to support healthy aging. Thank you, AG1. Now I know. Adaptogens for stress, resiliency, and mood balance. So obviously with a lot of these things, especially supplement brands, you tend to see the star because you can say these things, to get the attention and keep people curious and reading your emails. But it's always important to have some disclaimer at the bottom if you're up against these supplement companies are up against a lot of scrutiny and mismarketing, so you do have to have a lot to say disclaimers. But it's good. Like I would say use a disclaimer, really, if you can use it, because in the end of the day, you're saying all the things people want to hear. If someone ignores this, that's on them, right? You've called it out, disclaimer is there, you've put it there, you've saved yourself. Like if they ignore it, that's their own problem, right? Because you've been saying it over and over that you have a disclaimer for these things. And we use this for a lot of brands as well, disclaimers. Obviously, be careful what you use, but usually you can use disclaimers quite a lot. Lumina has one here for the cart abandonment. You left something in your cart, complete your purchase to Lumina as soon before your color doesn't run out of stock. Join over 10,000 customers, ultra wide 4K camera, dual noise cancelling microphones, aerospace aluminium body. Now, again, the thing that this is missing that AG1 did properly is calling out benefits, right? It hasn't called out any benefits. It's a mismatch of everything. They're using all of a sudden, out of stock without any actual proof that it's going to run out of stock. And then 10,000 customers with no real social proof underneath it that shows some of them customers, but just calling it out, right? And then moving straight on to features. It's a mismatch of everything. And what do I always say? Keep it simple in your emails. So the one objective of this email could be feature benefit. So make the whole email feature benefit, like AG1 did here, right? It made everything feature benefit. So it's very clear what this email is about. Here, you're telling me it's out coming out of stock. You're telling me 10,000 plus customers, and then you're telling me all these features. It is too much for the human brain to comprehend. So I'm not saying it's bad, but it can definitely do with some improvements here and some testing. So let's go on to Flowchart and quiz infographics. So we've got MyUV here, which is take the MyUV quiz. Love quizzes. I love quiz funnels. I think they're great if you do them properly. They work wonders, especially for certain brands like supplement brands, health brands. Perfect. So here we have match with your perfect supplement. Follow the prompts below to discover a supplement made for you. Da-da-da. Do you get yes? So do you get period? Yes, no. Yes. You want relief? Yes, please. No. Shop MyUV. Yes. So it all leads to some product. Do you experience bloating? Yes or no? How about mood cramps? Yes, no. Then no. Shop movie. Fair enough. It's just gone straight back to shop movie if I don't want anything, but that's fair enough. I'll check it out anyway. Here we have Solar Wave. This could be a skincare match. So here again, we're just basically calling out things that, people want solutions to, essentially. In both, in quizzes in general, when customers don't buy, it's usually not the price. It's because of uncertainty, right? And this format of quizzes and having a flowchart, this is where indecision turns to decision, and it helps take some of those people that are on the fence into figuring out what it is that they need to buy. You're kind of walking through it. Feels personalized to some people. You're not going to please everybody, but it feels personalized to a lot of people, especially if your product solves a common problem. It feels helpful, and it also stops people from having to think about it in the end. Let's move on to statistics infograph. So this is where data does a lot of selling. Specific numbers, especially for some of your supplement brands, food brands, things like that, they do, especially if they're very specific numbers, they do matter. So things like exact percentages, clear metrics, and concrete results. These things tap into how people make decisions. So think about this. Emotion is what drives interest, right? Is what captures the attention. But data kind of backs up, right, any uncertainty they have, and it almost gives them permission to buy. It's like, look, this is proven, right? So you have no reason not to try it. And you're turning the abstract benefits that, it makes you feel good over 24 hours, right? You're turning those things that everybody says, the abstract benefits, to something that's measurable, that's been properly reported. You'll hear the flavor you've been waiting for, new chocolate peanut butter. Meet it, the results you can feel. When asked about Black Edition, 84% felt fuller, 76% sat less, 75% more productive, 84% more healthier. You're going to believe this because it's very specific, and then they have a disclaimer on what that's based off of at the bottom of the email. Bjorn here, the digestion drops, us versus them. So here, basically, where other digestive aids fail, going in with kombucha, postbiotics over the thingy. Digestion drops, and just going in with the specifics. So no sugar, all that good stuff. But then this is where they have the data. Now, usually the data is used to support something else in the email. It's not usually the main objective. So first of all, you pick an objective. In this case, they're going with us versus them, right? So us versus them is the objective. How do we back up our point, right? How do we make this point here where we go in with the digestion drops? How do we back that up, right? And they do it with social proof, and they do it with the study here. 64% more hydrating than water alone, 49% more hydrating than leading electrolyte competitors, and then 10% increase in positive fluid balance. So it's basically calling out the specific results that they are talking about versus, traditional standards. So it's backing up their point, right? And this is like, again, you've got me interested. I find you're clearly better than me, and I'm using a lot of these, but I don't really trust you. I don't really believe it. Oh, wait, you've got a study. Oh, and you've got customer reviews that are saying exactly that. All right, well, it's pretty legit. All right, I'll try it. There you go. You just converted a non-customer. All right, timeline infographic. So this one is about expectation setting. So people want results, but they also want honesty, which we just talked about. And timelines show progress, like real progress, turns it into a journey. What happens now, what happens later, and what results actually look like over time. And this builds trust because it shows the payoff isn't instant, but it is real and it's easy to scalp. So let's look at Fellow here with the timeline. 11 years in the game. It all started with a Kickstarter campaign and a big dream to build beautifully functional coffee gear. Let's take a stroll down the Fellow Brew Bar board in honor of our 11th birthday. So here they're starting. It's basically like a brand, behind the scenes into the brand. This is really good for your existing customer and your VIP segments, which I've talked about in other videos, right? Because it's making them feel like, wow, I bought in 2018. Oh yeah, I remember the Atmos vacuum canister because I bought that. Now we're here. It makes them feel more involved in that journey. And it also shows that, wow, this brand has really been innovating, been trying new things, and they've stuck with it, and they've been around for a long time. So it builds trust. So this is a really good example of like a brand affirmation campaign that you would send out to existing customers and VIPs. Definitely love this one from Fellow. Kirk, our benefit timeline, health benefit timeline. So it's showing you here. I see this a lot, this style, in hair loss treatments. So your Hims, if you're in the UK, I think they also have one in the US. They do this really well. So it shows you like what happens on month what, because with hair loss treatment and with a lot of these things like supplements and certain health driven brands, you don't see benefits immediately. Some brands do, some people do, but usually it's long-term benefits, right, that happen over time, and you start to notice it maybe after month 1, 2, 3. With hair loss treatment, it's over 5 months, even 12 months before you start noticing any difference. So it's really good with those brands that you notice an effect longer, that in your post-purchase sequences, whether it's in your flows and, right, your campaigns, you're speaking to both your non-customers and your existing customers on their timelines and what each month is going to look like for them. This is a great example. Month 1 boosts your immune system and energy, replenishes nutrition, enhances your memory and concentration. You may start to feel relief from joint and muscle soreness, and then month 2 and month 3 and so on. So yeah, Kirk, really good example here. I love timelines, and you can use this for a lot of brands as well, and just take it away and implement it and see how it works. So, want to work with us in 2026. Now, this is exactly the type of thinking that we bring to our clients' accounts. We don't just ask, what email should we send? We ask, what decision does the customer need to make? What's stopping them? And how do we remove that friction visually and verbally? So if you're a brand doing serious revenue, that's what we help with. And if you want to see where your email is leaving money on the table, that's what our audits are for. So go book that audit below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.